So we're here again, and today I have with me Beth, who's going to give more about her story. My name is Cole Hansen. I explant in 2 more weeks, so I'm almost there, but I want to share some other stories in the meantime, and maybe it's partially for selfish reasons, then I get to hear people's stories after the fact. So why don't you start by telling us who you are, and we'll just go from there.
Okay, great. Well, my name's Beth. I am from Massachusetts. I'm 40 years old. My story actually starts about 9 years ago now. I actually, I was young and I thought I needed some enhancements. I'd had some kids and thought things needed a little help in certain areas. So I decided to get saline implants back in those days. Pretty much about 3 months after I got them, I started developing symptoms that sort of resembled, my neighbor actually had MS. And so interestingly enough, I had heard a lot of his symptoms. And so I started developing numbness and tingling in my extremities. I instantly started getting horrifying anxiety attacks, uncontrollable anxiety. And I never had that before. I was very successful person and never had an issue being around people or going into certain buildings or whatever it may have been. So anxiety, tingling, muscle weakness, twitches, which was really strange. And this is literally about 3 months after I got them. So I spent a lot of time over at my neighbor's house saying, how did you know that you had MS? And he went through the process of telling me all of these things. And I said, well, I have that.
Right.
Absolutely. I'm self-diagnosing. I know that this is the situation. So then as time kind of went on, some of the symptoms, they dissipate. So then you kind of ignore the situation for a little while because now you're having good days and you're having good months. And, but a few months, even past those 3 months, I started having what they thought was hormonal issues. So I'm having really, really irregular cycle. As a matter of fact, I once I got my implants, I actually started having a period and never stopped.
Oh,
yeah,
that sounds terrible. I mean, I've been through something like that.
For anybody.
No.
So 6 months after getting my implants in, I had a full hysterectomy at age 31, ovaries included, because they thought that was what the cause of my situation was, which is pretty unfortunate. I was very fortunate that I have 2 kids already. So, years progressed and, different things started happening to me. Light sensitivity, sound sensitivity, just all of a sudden just not being able to be in a room and have a conversation with people and understand really what they were saying. Or if they just told me their name, I could not recall what they had just said or what their name was. And so all these neurological things started to happen to me. My skin got really ashy, sunken in eyes and really dark circles under my eyes. And then suddenly I started having really, really bad digestive issues. And so I was just convinced that something was killing me, but I had no idea at the time what it was. I just said, geez, I'm falling apart. It must be my immune system. I must not be taking good enough care of myself. But I eat really well. And I was a huge exerciser back then. I was so fit, always engaged in something physical.
I think that's when we tell ourselves, like, this doesn't make sense.
Right.
Because, listen, I know if I don't eat healthy and I have stomach issues, I know why. Whether or not I fix it is one thing. But it's that was similar for me, where it was just like this. I mean, I'd been eating clean and candida and diets and all this stuff that I was like, this doesn't make sense.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And then you start searching everything. Like, what could this possibly be? So once the digestive issues kicked in, it was like downhill from there. I started not being able to eat anything, just having such bad stomach pains and living in the bathroom all the time. And I don't even mind being that personal because people need to know how controlling this is of your life. Everything starts changing and you start being controlled literally by what symptom that you have that day rather than, your normal day-to-day living.
Well, and it's hard enough to be a mother, a working mother, balancing life. When you have stuff going on in your body, you can't escape that. When there's drama outside in the world, you can hide from it. When life gets hard, you can cope. When it's in your body, you are trapped there and there's no escape.
That's Such a good point. It's crazy. It really is. So I developed celiac disease.
Mm.
So I finally was tested to find out what was going on there. And I've always been able to eat anything I want. I've never had an issue with anything. Never had a food allergy. And now, it's 8 years later and I'm allergic to peanuts. I'm allergic to shellfish. I'm allergic to, I can't have wheat. I don't eat sugar. I can't have dairy.
Well, and for people that don't know, one of the symptoms for breast implant illness can be basically new food allergies.
Absolutely.
You didn't have before.
Yeah, it's pretty much I thought that I was having an immune system that was shutting down. And it was really the opposite. I was having an immune system that was actually so overactive that it was attacking all the pretty much good parts of my body because this foreign object was in there and it was just saying, hey, you don't belong here. And I'm just going to beat you up until you're out.
And everything else in the meantime.
Yeah, I'm going to shut everything down until somebody figures out that this needs to go.
Right.
Interestingly enough, I sort of had a gasoline to the fire situation happen, and that was 4 years ago. So 4 years ago, I actually moved into my boyfriend's house, and all of a sudden, my body completely shut down. I couldn't get out of bed most of the time, and I started developing very serious neurological issues. This conversation that you and I are having right now would never have occurred actually 6 months ago.
How long ago did you explant? What was your explant date?
I explanted last September 9th.
Okay.
So, just over a year now.
Wow. Okay. Which is great because we actually haven't had anyone yet that's been like longer than a few months.
Sure.
So this is at least yet.
Hope for those people. So I'll get to the hope part. Don't worry. So, I moved into his house and interestingly enough, I had a severe reaction to mold that we found underneath the house. So my symptoms were already there, though. That was the weird thing. But then the house exacerbated it so much that I literally, really, truly thought I was dying. I was in the hospital all the time. And they automatically assumed it was Lyme disease. And interestingly enough, they tested me for Lyme disease. And I had like one band that was a little tiny bit elevated. So they automatically assumed, oh, it's Lyme. So, and the symptoms really do kind of go hand in hand. Since then I actually tested and none of those bands were actually positive after explant. So, but I was on antibiotics for 6 months, treated a horrible, then you get the gut dysbiosis, which is, your gut goes to hell when you take out all the good bacteria and you're already a mess. So everything,
right.
It just gets a little crazy. So we didn't know about the mold at the time of my explant. So we hadn't found that yet. So this past year was really remarkable. And I'll explain that also. Because what people don't understand is, you're told by doctors all the time that saline implants are very safe.
It's just water.
Yep, go with that. Well, if anybody actually knows anything about saline, it's actually not supposed to be stored above 77 degrees for a long period of time.
I did not know that.
Yeah, your body's 98.6, and here it is, it's in my body for 8 years. So, and of course the shells are made of silicone. So you get 70 carcinogens wrapped up in a nice boiling heap of biotoxins just waiting to come out. And biotoxins, for people that don't know, are basically mold. So are all implants moldy? No. Can they be? Yes. And I don't care how many people argue that. It's being proven now time and time again. So I don't know if mine were actually moldy. I can tell you that before I explanted, I got a test done. There's no definitive 100% test that actually is good for mold, but this particular one, it's like a human beta growth factor test that is mold associated. So it's biotoxin illness associated. So when you have a high elevation of this particular test, people, functional medicine doctors, not so much your regular doctors, they don't know much about this kind of stuff, but these functional medicine doctors, they go right to the mold situation. So a high normal was 2,300 and I tested over 9,000.
Wow.
So, and that was before explant. So, so I basically didn't know about the house. I didn't even know about the biotoxin illness that much because it was just a couple months before my explant that was sort of starting to be explained to me. I just wanted them out. I had started reading stories. I started Googling and like thousands and thousands of women were coming out of the woodwork. I didn't find, however, the breast implant illness groups that are available, and I will give 3 at the end of this video that will help people. And I say, even if you want implants and you haven't even gotten them yet,
do your
oh,
research.
yes,
Yeah.
please. If anybody had said anything that I'm saying right now,
Oh, I never would have.
right?
Because I didn't, I wasn't like other women where I felt like I needed them. I was like, hey, safe sailing.
Sure.
And I was 18, right? I'm 33 now. So then we're talking 15 years ago. It was just like, oh,
it was a thing.
Okay.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm just a little bit older than you. So, everybody has different reasons for wanting to do something like this. But, the fact of the matter is that warnings weren't available when you and I were making our decisions. And so that's why what you're doing right now is pretty unbelievable because, every day in these groups, we're getting more and more women saying, oh my gosh, I've read your stories and I am not going to go forward. So
I've had 3 personal friends, like close friends,
me too.
Women that are, mid 30s to early 40s, their kids are older, back on the dating scene, or, now their kids are old enough, they are back to really soul searching and like finding themselves again.
Right.
That I had 3 that were just like, you don't understand, like in the next year, I was looking to do it. And now like I wouldn't possibly, because they're working out, they're getting healthier. They were, just wanting to
all that will come to a screeching halt for a lot of people. And I mean, there are some other factors that make it so that people, do react certain ways to the implant. So I do believe they will make everyone sick. I just think sometimes it takes longer for certain people than it do others.
Or it may be things you don't realize, like stomach issues or joint pain. Because in retrospect, if you would have asked me 6 months ago, I would have said I've never had an issue with my implants.
Right.
Until now, with everything I've learned, I'm like, holy cow, I get pins and needles on this side that I thought was an imbalance. I'm a personal trainer and I thought I had shoulder imbalances, neck issues. I literally just came out of teaching a class. And so I'm like, how can I conceal sweaty hair? And so I've been doing all this myofascial release and stuff on my back and on my shoulder that now, as I shopped plastic surgeons, I had no idea my implants had fallen out of the pocket. No idea.
Oh,
so
wow.
They've been like this as long as I can remember.
Oh
I just thought, they're implants, right? They look kind of wonky and like, I don't know.
Right. They're going to naturally kind of fall maybe, or,
Yeah, so that's been pressing on nerves. That's not including all the other stuff.
Ugh.
So I was just like, it makes sense. Like,
I'm so excited for you that your day is coming. So I went into Explant completely not knowing what to ask for. I didn't know that I should keep my implants. I didn't know that, one of the only things that I did learn, because I hadn't found the breast implant groups yet, is I did learn that you need to get the capsule out. So thank goodness, because that would have been a nightmare to have to go through a second surgery for that.
Yeah, again.
So I got them out and, I had, a good solid 10-day recovery of discomfort maybe, but the minute I woke up, I noticed that I could breathe. I didn't have like this cement block on my chest, which people don't understand how much pressure, especially if you're a small person, like we happen to be, how much pressure these put on your lungs and your rib cage. Wow.
That's the number one thing.
First big breath.
Yeah. Katie Sharfin, who had hers explant about a month ago, she's a friend of mine, which is how I ended up on this process, on this journey. And when she said that to me, she said, I took the first deep breath I didn't know I hadn't taken in 8 years.
Craziness.
And that, when I heard that, my entire body heard that. And I was like, I'm looking forward to more than anything to that first big breath.
Yeah.
So,
and it happens the minute you wake up.
Right.
So it's not like you have to wait a week. The minute you wake up, all of a sudden you'll be like, just relief and oxygen, so it's pretty wonderful. And I will say that my brain fog, which was so detrimental to me, really cleared maybe a couple weeks after. All of a sudden I felt like a cloud had been lifted. However, my symptoms did return. So I do want to kind of address that a little bit, because
please.
I don't want anyone thinking that you're sick for 8 years and in 1 month, everything's going to be just exactly as it once was. So I was about 65% actually after I got my implants out. And it's great too, because you're happy with 65%. I couldn't have gotten to 65% before if I tried. I just assumed that I was dying and everyone was letting me die, and I would be dead soon. I had stopped hoping for a percentage of wellness. So when I hit 65%, I was like, I'm good. I can do this forever. So about 6 months after everything, and I didn't do all the detox protocols that are out there that the other girls did. I ate clean. I don't eat sugar. I don't eat, I don't drink anymore. And I'm hoping to get that one back. No, just
Well,
saying.
who wouldn't like to just, enjoy a little bit, not every day, holidays.
Yeah, that's all. Cookie once in a while would be great. So, I already ate clean and I already did really well by my body. So I was kind of in detox mode anyway. There's just other things, my functional medicine doctor by about 4 months ago had me on about 26 supplements a day, which was crazy. So I didn't at first do all that crazy protocol. It wasn't until my symptoms came back, about 6 months ago, that I finally went to the functional medicine doctor and was like, oh my gosh, I think something's all still in there, or, something's happening. But 6 months ago was also when we had our house tested. And so because I had biotoxin illness already, which we already knew because of the tests I had previously had done, which I hadn't repeated yet, we had the test done and found out that my body was connecting to the fact that there was mold also in the house. So that says a lot to me, because I've lived in old houses my whole life. I've never had reactions or anything else. And this house actually shut me down. And this is a really nice house. But we have crawl spaces. So you get a lot more reactive too when it comes to things like that, because it's, there's already a probability that your body is already handling those kinds of toxins. So we had the house. So I moved out for about a month, and we had the entire house remediated, and I moved back in, and maybe I was 70%. I could feel the air was clearer. I could feel that my reactivity was better. But I still wasn't 100%, and I still was having brain fog, and I was still just nothing like when I had my implants, but still feeling like I wasn't 100% there.
Right.
So but I did find a supplement.
Great.
Actually was antifungal, antiviral, and antiparasitic. And it was presented to me by a friend who was taking it for another illness and said, this really helped me. And it was a tick-borne illness. I'm not allowed to say exactly which illness it is, but it was a tick-borne illness, and he was doing remarkable. And watching that sort of journey, I was like, well, you could pretty much pour poison down my throat right now, and if it will help me, I will drink it. So I started on it, and that was 2 months ago. And since I started on it, I had about 10 days of a good herks off of it, but I've been literally 100% since.
Wow. And that was how long ago?
That I started on that?
Yes.
2 months ago. So 2 months ago, I was still about 70, maybe 75%, but just still having really groggy days and just couldn't get up in the morning. And I just, I had this fatigue, and I just wasn't all the way there yet. I still was so much better than before my explant, but I just wasn't quite as good as I was 10 years ago. Now I kind of feel like I'm a little better than I was 10 years ago, believe it or not. So it's a blessing. So.
Well, and that's, I listen to so many women, and not just ones that have implants, but just that are reaching, their mid 30s to 40s, and they're saying, oh, well, I'm slowing down, I'm getting older. And I'm like, no, I don't subscribe to that idea.
Right. I don't either.
My husband at 40, almost 45, is in better shape than he's ever been in his life. Right. My mother-in-law, who just turned 70, is still going to her body pump classes. And I don't believe that. I believe this, we settle for not feeling good as part of getting older instead of figuring out what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's why my health was really bad like 8 years ago, which is I was eating terrible, still had implants. But that's when I started working out, eating healthier, detoxes and juice cleanses and master cleanses. I did all of it.
Oh, me too.
Which I know had I not done those changes, I'd be in a much worse position.
Yes, probably.
because I still, when most people look at me, am far healthier than other people.
Right.
But I know I've done everything else and something is still off.
And you're headed down a road too,
Yes.
because I think sometimes when you're younger and you start off younger, maybe your body can cope a little bit more. And I think as you decide to get implants a little bit later on, you already have all the oxidative stress, and your cells are already changing, because that's the only way we age or get sick, is that our cells change. So, I think, you know, 5 years from now, you may be telling, if you weren't getting them out, you might be telling a completely different story.
Yeah, it's interesting because it was only about 3 months ago, my husband and I, because we do stuff with energy work and body work and just things around just getting balance in everything, right? And we put out into the universe and announced that we decided we were open to having children. Not that we were even going to start trying. He's got a daughter that's grown. She has her family and her husband and her kids.
Wow.
And we didn't know that we were going to start, if we were going to do the kid thing. I was fine either way my whole life. If it was meant to be, if I decided, great. If not, I didn't have that ticking clock feeling. And as soon as we put out that I wanted to get in the best possible shape to be able to carry children and call that energy in, then I started getting dizziness, nausea, fatigue on this whole other level.
Yeah.
Now I've been working out, doing more chest exercises than I've ever done. And I believe that by strengthening my chest, it migrated them out a little further.
Absolutely. I always feel
damage
after a chest workout. Always.
I've stopped, it was the most frustrating thing, because I was loving the results I was getting. But I'm so grateful that, mine was 3 months of doctors and tests, and my general practitioner is amazing. I told her, all the tests, we did the blood work. I went to the ER once. They said, not even normal. I was healthy. And I was just like, well, that's fine, but I'm not.
Right. I know my body.
Yeah. And so, how was that for you as far as, I don't know, in the relationship you're in now? So was he already seeing you by the time you were going through this process, getting sick? I like to hear people's partners' responses to you basically saying, hey, my implants are making me sick, I think.
Okay.
Oh, cute.
My buddy. Well, interestingly enough, when he met me, I was actually doing pretty well. I had symptoms, but again, I thought, I'm going gluten-free. That's when I had first found out I had celiac. Everything's great. And I really did have a huge improvement in my symptoms for a little while when I went gluten-free. So kind of thought that was the end all, because I hadn't found out yet. But when he met me, I was very exciting. I'm in a band. We travel all over. It was very popular.
Ah, that's right. You're a musician.
Yeah. So
I remember.
So he was like my biggest fan, and it was great. So we had this like fairy tale thing happening, and I would complain about some of the stuff. Sore today, whatever it may be. But then when I moved in here, which I moved in actually meeting him 6 months, which is not usual for me, but we just knew. And
honestly, the time I was with people for years and we finally did. And that's not the determining factor.
Yeah, we've been together 5 years now. And so it wasn't until I moved in here that some of the symptoms I was kind of trying to hide from him because we were kind of new. So I didn't want to be like the big complainer, and I just thought it was, my normal stuff. There's a time last year that he had to help me just even walk to the bathroom, or, on the bad days, he would say, come on. And he would take me by the arm and he'd say, we're going to make it as far as the garden. And if you can make it as far as the garden, you did really good today. That's crazy. My garden's not that far away. So it's emotional when you talk about it, because, when you do go from being this athlete to someone who is actually holding someone's arm to make it, 50 yards to her garden and back. And that was the accomplishment of the day. And, having a boss that was nice enough to let me work from my bed half the time. Right. So without him, I don't know, I would have made it without him. He never made me feel like a burden.
What's his name?
Jim.
We love you, Jim.
I know we do. And the thing was, we weren't even seeing our friends. We really lost our group of people for the most part because we stopped going to everything, and nobody knew how bad it was. I would put some stuff on Facebook just for support, but mostly, to educate or whatever it may be. But, nobody knew that, he was sitting here taking care of a sick person 90% of the time. So yeah, he's a hero for sure.
Yay, Jim! We need more Jims. I'm lucky to have a super supportive husband that, if anything, he was like, hey, when you get him out, it's like, I'm getting a brand new wife. Like, this is great.
That's awesome.
My hair's blue right now and I change colors. So he's like, I've got a new woman every month. I don't ever need anyone else.
That's so awesome.
So you're over a year out now. What would you say to women that maybe are looking to get implants, or women that aren't as lucky as we are to have support from a spouse or a partner or boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, that is just feeling really alone, and doctors are telling them they're not sick. But I mean, we know our bodies.
Psychiatrist, right? We all need a psychiatrist at one point, going to all these doctors. It was all in our head for me. That was years of hearing that. I finally went to one because I thought, well, I am crazy. I'm a hypochondriac, apparently. So I actually almost started to believe them. But I think what I would say to people who, first of all, have them and feel alone, you can feel alone even if you do have someone that's super supportive, because your sick voice becomes much stronger than your healthy voice. Don't listen to your sick voice. It will beat you down, and it will want you to stay sick, and it will not want you to listen to your body, and it will not want you to make sometimes these extreme measures, because that depression wants to own you. And try your best not to listen to it. Get through every day, and if you can explant, get there. Now, if you need support on a daily basis, and I mean a daily basis by, I don't know, like 3,000 other women that are going through the same thing or have been through the same thing, there's 3 groups that I would recommend. One is actually called the TITS Committee, and it is the Implant Truth Survivors. And they're a wonderful group, and Anne travels all over the place and does amazing things to make awareness on a government level, really, to help us all out. So that's a great one. Pursuing Explant is another great one, and that is actually the journey of getting well after you do. And you can join that even if you haven't, just to see what it's like. And then there's Breast Implant Healing Warriors, and that's one of my favorites. Diane has been a wonderful influence on me, and has saved me on many occasions with the right words or whatever I needed, really. And we're all there for you.
Those are the same groups, the 3 that I'm in, and that feeling of not being alone, not feeling crazy, hearing from other women and being like, that's me. I mean, that's what I wanted in these videos, for people to go, these aren't women that, I mean, of all the women I've interviewed so far, all of them have done fitness, very mindful, gluten-free, vegan. Like, we're talking about serious commitment to like healthy living.
Yeah, this is no joke. If someone's telling you, if you have implants and someone's like, oh, you have fibromyalgia, no offense, to me, fibromyalgia is a symptom. It's not a disease.
That's exactly what I say.
Yes. All of these things are symptoms of a greater root of what's going on in your body, as far as I'm concerned. But if they're telling you have lupus or MS, or because you can have gray matter on your brain for many other reasons, many other toxicity reasons, aside from MS, and chronic fatigue disorder, and I can't think of the other one that's like that histamine reaction where you develop allergies to everything, mast cell histamine stuff, different things like that. If you're aching more, if you listen to yourself, don't say, oh, I can't, it's not my implants. Oh, at least if nothing else, embrace the possibility that something is going on with you if these conditions are becoming chronic. And also, you may have Lyme disease. I believe that there is Lyme disease inside of my body. I live in the Northeast. I sit in tree stands with my honey and take photographs and watch nature, and I have ticks on me. I have dogs. I would say probably 90% of people have Lyme disease inside their bodies, and our immune system can take care of that. And I often think that sometimes these implants can actually cause this eruption of these diseases that could be dormant in your body. on a normal basis, and this is just my opinion, I'm not a doctor, but just from research and things that I've learned in so many years, but an Epstein-Barr, I tested positive for the Epstein-Barr chronic mono. I was tired all the time from that. That's dormant now. You know what I mean? My numbers are very, very low now because I think that because my body isn't attacking, my body's not attacking the implants, it's actually attacking the diseases that it needs to keep quiet. And so that's why sometimes people test really high with Lyme and stuff before they get their implants out. And then afterwards, all of a sudden they're negative and they get this crazy mixed message. But it could be that you just have it in your body, but your body finally puts it back, to rest where it belongs because your immune system's working again. So,
well, the truth is our body is battling cancer all day, every day.
Absolutely.
And when our immune system is challenged or it's in overdrive doing one thing, then it can't protect us from even just colds and flus. And I was getting walking pneumonia and bronchitis every single year.
Me too.
At one point. It was just like,
ugh. And it lasts forever.
Yeah.
You can never get rid of it, right?
Yeah.
It was crazy. I can't tell you how much I called into work. And, I still joke. I actually had an event the other night to talk about the supplement I'm on. And I invited anybody that I thought, it might help. And
you're free to share the supplement if you choose to.
I want to, because I know that it's life-changing. And I only know that because of my own experience and a couple other people that I've actually put on it. But, people are so negative about multi-level marketing, which I am too. I hate it.
Listen, I am too, but I'll be perfectly honest with you. Like, it's part of the reason I wanted to do the videos too, is women are also searching for what works for them. And I'll tell any woman watching that all of this is subjective for you to try. No one's even telling you to sign up to be a distributor.
I don't care what anybody does. The reason I signed up to be a distributor is because I got it cheaper, number one.
Yep.
And I waited until I tried it first to see if it worked for me. And I actually posted on the breast implant site, I'm trying something new. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but if it works for me, I'm going to share it with you all. And actually Diane is kind enough to let me share it on there. And I have a couple people that have started on it and are doing really well. They're just in the early stages of it because you really need to be on it at least 3 months to feel and I'm only 2 months in.
For most people that understand supplements, 6 weeks is the minimum.
Absolutely.
I mean, even just for typical mineral supplements,
right?
Iron, magnesium, like it takes time to get into your system.
And most supplements, they work, by, fruits and vegetables, or they're working on some kind of something in your system to make it better. This is actually scientifically proven to repair your cells. It actually helps you with oxidative stress, which is the cause of most disease. And that's what it was like. It was like after I started taking it, a bowling ball came out of my brain, or my skin's beautiful, my hair is doing beautiful. I have energy. I feel alive again for the first time in 10 years. And that's why I'm so afraid to share it so much with people, because they're thinking, oh, she's just trying to sell it.
Listen, for anyone that
not to make money, but I am trying to share it because.
But that's the thing. If anyone made it this far into the video to hear your story, trust me, they want to know, because you're articulate. And I can't even say the word. You're articulate, well-spoken, authentic. So I know if I would have been, I've been watching you, and I haven't met you other than our encounter here and the Facebook groups, and I'm dying to know. Maybe I should just stop beating on the bush. I'm tell me.
So this is what it is. Is it backwards to everybody?
Nope, you're good.
I take 2 ounces in the morning and 2 ounces at night, and it is third-party tested, and that's what people worry about. It's, third-party tested in laboratories to make sure that this is actually scientific. And interestingly enough, it's just salt water. So people are like, what? It's just salt water. But it's gone through a huge process to actually create a redox signaling molecule supplement. You can Google redox signaling molecules. It doesn't even have to be about this product. And you'll hear about how much.
Trust me, with the thousands of dollars I've spent on my health, experimenting, trying things.
I'm going to get up for 1 second.
Yeah, grab it.
I want you to finish the story.
I'm just saying that I'm affiliated with lots of supplement companies, not generally as a company in a whole, because I feel like they also put out products that are, they're for profit versus for what I think is a more, appropriate purpose. Oh yeah, you look like me.
So this is what I done 3 months ago.
Wow.
There are thousands of dollars in this basket. And I will tell you that not one thing in there. Did it help me? Sure. I mean, yeah, my magnesium helps me, my vitamin C helps me, of course. But I will tell you that I'm not on one of those things.
Wow.
I am off of every single thing. The minute I started the ASEA, I got off of everything because I didn't feel that I had a need for it, because this goes in and it actually, like I said, antiviral. So, and I can't mention illnesses because no supplement in the world.
FDA, you can't.
FDA, but of course the FDA also says that Monsanto's okay. So we don't talk about.
Well, and they also say there's nothing wrong with implants and other medical devices.
We don't like them anyway.
Bad news,
Exactly. So, it is antiviral. So, right there, to me, I'm considering this my, yearly shot that people get for illnesses.
I stopped getting sick when I stopped getting shots.
I am never getting
I'm not swearing off all vaccines or anything like that, but the typical flu shot, I have ever since I stopped getting it, I have not got the flu.
I know. And then people will argue all about that, but
I know. My husband's a registered nurse for 25 years and he will not take the flu shot.
Yeah. And it's also antifungal, and we all have, these different things, definitely a lot of fun.
Not officially antifungal or antiviral, because you can't say that according to the FDA.
We actually, believe it or not, I can actually say that it is officially and scientifically antiviral, antifungal, and antiparasitic.
Nice.
I just can't name the name
diseases or anything like that. Yeah.
So it absolutely, it is scientifically proven. There's videos all over the place about the science behind it. It's all, it's been tested for many, many, many years. It's 100% safe, so it's native to your body. Now, when it comes to breast implants, one of the biggest supplemental words that you're going to hear is glutathione.
Right.
How important is glutathione? It's huge. It's the way that your liver detoxes and removes. I have a big fan base here.
Oh, babies! I made mine go upstairs because he started barking.
So, glutathione is so important because it actually gets all the it gets all the toxins out of your body through your liver. And a lot of us go through liver issues because we have different detox pathways that are closed down for different reasons, especially when it comes to this illness. We tend to not detox really well. ASEA actually increases your glutathione by 800%.
Wow.
There's not a supplement on earth that does that. And I can feel it the minute I take it. I wake up in the morning and I go right to the fridge and I get my 2 ounces because I feel like I'm not really awake until I take it.
Oh, I'm about to get a bottle for me and my husband. Like at this point, I'm like call in all the let's go.
If anybody does want more information, it's not that yes, you can sign up under me just to order it. You can order it through me.
Yeah.
And not,
and we can put your link.
I don't care about making a business out of it so much, but I'm going to tell you right now, with me comes the people above me who, again, one had a very serious tick-borne illness and others have others, and you can hear their stories. We are a team of once very ill people, and we have decided to share this product because we know what it's like.
Yeah.
And we know what it'll do. And if people I think, it's just my opinion, but I think if people give this damn thing a chance, it will help them so, so much. The stories are incredible. It's the most inspiring thing to listen to.
Well, one of the things I tell people, even with supplements in general, this is process of elimination, but you've got to stick with it for 90 days. But there's products out there that will change your life.
Yes.
And even if you don't resonate with this, you will lose nothing by trying something for 90 days.
Right. And listen to people that are telling you about it because they're telling you for a reason.
Well, and especially when people have been through it, because the worst thing that happens, and with all the medications and doctors and, and with the way the medical field and insurance is right now, like you're going to pay more money going to the doctor for them to prescribe you something that's going to cause more issues to treat the symptom that creates more symptoms that you get lost in finding what the issue is.
I actually went to my functional medicine doctor like 2.5 weeks ago for I was going every 2 weeks, and it's actually an hour and 20-minute drive from me to see her. And we actually got very close, almost as good friends. I actually developed like a caring for her, and I think for her, for me also. And I walked into this last one and she said, okay. So she was just sort of waiting for my list of symptoms because that's what we did every single time was what's a little better, what's not a little better. And she said, so what's up? And I said, I'm good. And she was like, what? And I'm like, I really am. I made it to what I feel is 100%. And so anyway, we got to talking about the ASEA and whatnot. And she said, I'm going to try it. She said, because I'm not 100%. And I was like, oh, it's my turn.
Well, but the thing is, and this is what I want to tell anyone watching that's sick. It's a hard thing to fathom, but as you described earlier, even feeling 40% better, 20% better, I feel 40% better than I did 90 days ago. I
Yeah.
mean, I could barely work anymore. I was getting scared because how am I going to get the money for my surgery? And if I can't work up until that point and take the work off for recovery. So anyone that's watching, that's scared, that's nervous, the more you can do to get your body together ahead of time
Oh gosh,
before
yes.
explant is going to help your recovery. I've been detoxing and cleansing for 3 months.
Good for you.
And then I
I'm very
have to
excited
stop.
for you.
I am
I
too.
feel like,
I did stop. So 2
yeah.
weeks before the surgery, I stopped all supplements. For 2 weeks after, I'm going to stop all supplements. Just that's what the doctor and anesthesiologist wants. I'm going to Dr. Melmid in Dallas. I said, okay. But there's one supplement that I'm starting to feel a little scratchy throat. I'm taking it today because I'm not getting sick before this flight.
Right? I
But,
know.
so for
It's
anyone
amazing.
that's just scared, feeling alone, you have to look for those little like beacons of light, those people that you see feel amazing. Try it.
And you
Commit
know what's weird?
and believe
Like,
in it.
I feel like this is the first time I'm visually seeing you as a person.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've known you forever.
Yeah. I totally feel that way.
People need to understand that too. Like, I've met some women in these groups and we text each other all the time now. And one's in Georgia and one's out here and one's in Arizona and it's how you doing today and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's developed into relationships outside of the actual groups. And man, I feel like I just have, I don't know. I
We got
feel like
like high fives going across the country.
literally like invincible in a way, like we are creating a wonderful movement against the lack of warnings for the situation.
It's a lot of empowerment, actually, because the thing is, all of us, there was something we wanted to change. Call it whatever you want, but that's the fact of it. And some of us were more lucky than others,
Yeah.
because there's some women that didn't even make it through, and their families believe because they got so sick their body couldn't fight back anymore. So, whether it was just because of implants or not, doesn't matter. They were weakened and their body couldn't fight back. That is not a risk worth, your health is not worth risking under any circumstance, because
Yeah.
nothing matters if you don't have your health. Nothing. It doesn't matter how nice of your car or how hot your spouse or whatever is, because guess what? The sex life cannot function if you are ill,
That is
if you
true.
have no energy, if you can't connect, if you can't smile.
That's true.
So it's,
And my kids lost their mom for 4 years.
yeah.
I mean, one's in college and one's going to college next year. And, I've been a single mom. Of course, I do have Jim now, but I'm just saying, truly, my kids lost their mom. And having bigger boobs and having kids that need someone that can't play with them or can't go to, look at colleges with them, because I couldn't go look at colleges with my daughter when she was, signing up. It's not worth it.
Not worth it.
It's heartbreaking, really.
Thank you so much for your time. I love having like just amazing women that know their stuff. Like you said, we're not hypochondriacs. In
No,
fact, we know more than our doctors do 90% of the time. So
absolutely.
anyone out there, just do your research. I'm not even telling you don't get implants, but that's not a choice I would make for somebody else, because you're free to choose. But I will tell you that with how many women I'm watching get sick to the point where they can't get out of bed and their hair is falling out, is that a risk you want to take?
Absolutely. And,
Because for me, it's
Crystal
not.
Hefner is helping make it,
More public.
a big deal out there. And, so it's not, it's even, it hits everybody. I guess it's what I'm trying to say is it doesn't discriminate. It's, it doesn't
And
matter.
there are other options now. Look at fat transfer, the new technologies with it. It's not as abrasive. If anyone wants to hit me up, I can give you some incredible doctors I've been watching. I'm not doing fat transfer. I decided not to. I'm just going to I'm just going to roll with my body as it wants to be.
There you go.
That's it.
Here you go. That's awesome.
After these
Good for
suckers are out.
you.
Me too. Well, thank you so much. I'm really honored and so grateful for your time and your knowledge, and hopefully, not hopefully, I know this is going to save more women,
I hope so.
and even just give some hope that it's a process.
Yep.
Waking up from surgery doesn't mean all is well most of the time, but it's back on the road, and it eliminates a huge factor.
Yes.
That there's only one way to know if it's making you sick, and that's to get rid of it and then work on the next thing. Get your body together, your belly together, your, whatever.
Absolutely. And join these groups so we can help
Join
you.
the groups. Absolutely.
So.
All right. Well, now we have to stay in contact.
I hope so.
We will for sure. Thank you so much. I'm going to put your link for the product just in the description. So if anyone's looking for it, just click in the description and they can ask questions or get more information.
I'll want, like, if anybody does, I'll want them to call me so I can talk. So we can.
We'll throw up an email so they can contact you, and then also your link if they just want to go for it. And I know I'm going to.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I look forward to it. All right.
Absolutely.
Take care.
You too. Bye, love.